two verses. We'll speak a little about the glories of Lord Shiva. It's unlimited actually, so we'll just try to understand Lord Shiva's position from the teachings of Shiva Prabhupada. So this text 28 and text 43, they are praised by Lord Shiva. Praise Lord Shiva continued, any person who is surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the controller of everything, material nature as well as the living entity, is actually very dear to me. We'll read another verse of praise by Lord Shiva. Text 43. Shakti Traya Samekaya Idushe Aham Kritakmane Cheta Koti Vaya Namo Vajo Vibhutaye. Translation. My dear Lord, you are the supreme controller of the worker, sense activities, and results of sense activities, karma. Therefore, you are the controller of the body, mind, and senses. You are also the supreme controller of egoism, known as Rudra. You are the source of knowledge and activities of the Vedic injunctions. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shiva Prabhupada. Shiva Prabhupada Ki Jai. Everyone acts under the dictation of the ego. Therefore, Lord Shiva is trying to purify false egoism through the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since Lord Shiva or Rudra is himself the controller of egoism, he indirectly wants to be purified by the mercy of the Lord so that his real egoism can be awakened. Of course, Lord Rudra is always spiritually awake, but for our benefit, he is playing in this way. For the impersonalist, pure egoism is Aham Brahmasmi. I am not this body, I am spirit soul. But in its actual position, the spirit soul has devotional activities to perform. Therefore, Lord Shiva prays to be engaged both in mind and in action in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord according to the direction of the Vedas. This is the process for purifying false egoism. Cheta means knowledge. Without perfect knowledge, one cannot act perfectly. The real source of knowledge is the vacha, or sound vibration, given by Vedic instructions. Here the word vacha or vibration means the Vedic vibration. The origin of creation is sound vibration, and if the sound vibration is clear and purified, perfect knowledge and perfect activities of body, mind, and activities through the purification of knowledge and action under the pure direction of the Vedas. Lord Shiva praised the Supreme Personality of Godhead so that his mind, senses, and words will all turn towards devotional activities only. Om Agyana Timirandasya Dhanayana Shalakaya Chakshurundalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Stapitam Yena Bhuktale Swayam Rupa Pradamaya Pradati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sahagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vidam Sajivam Sahadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalitam Shri Vishnavam Vidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Taptakanshan Dorange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sadhadevi Pranamami Harite Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Mukari Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavani Ascheta Vishabhagini Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Yevacha Patitanam Pavinibhyo Vaishnavaya Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And these prayers we read are prayers to Lord Krishna by Lord Shiva, especially the quadruple expansion, Shankarshan, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Ananta. So, Lord Shiva is offering these prayers, but he is offering them in the presence of the Prachetas, where the sons of King Prachina Mahari. This king, Prachana Bahari, he ordered his sons to create progeny, and at this time they chose to first perform austerities, and they were leaving home and they were going to the west. And on the way, they came across a beautiful lake, which was like an ocean. It was clear, transparent. The entire surroundings were so peaceful and congenial for spiritual practice. And at this point, they meet Lord Shiva, and they were very happy to meet Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva, he says these prayers, glorifying Lord Krishna. So, Shiva Ratri, there's many significance or the festivals that are observed for many reasons for Shiva Ratri. Some say it's the parents' day of Lord Shiva. Shiva Ratri means the great night of Lord Shiva, or the night that he performed the Tandava dance, or the dance of destruction. And others say that at this time Lord Shiva married Parvati, the daughter of the mountains. And so there's many reasons Shiva Ratri is observed. Shri Radha Radha Ki Jai, Giriraj Bhagavan Ki Jai, Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Radha Radha Ki Jai, Giriraj Bhagavan Ki Jai, Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Shri Radha Radha Ki Jai, Giriraj Bhagavan Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shri Radha Radha Ki Jai, Giriraj Bhagavan Ki Jai, Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Shri Radha Radha Ki Jai, Giriraj Bhagavan Ki Jai, Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Shri Radha Radha Ki Jai, Giriraj Bhagavan Ki Jai, Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Shri Radha Radha Ki Jai, Giriraj Bhagavan Ki Jai, Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Shri Radha Radha Ki Jai, Giriraj Bhagavan Ki Jai, Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Shri Radha Radha Ki Jai, Giriraj Bhagavan Ki Jai, Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Shri Radha Radha Ki Jai, Giriraj Bhagavan Ki Jai, Gaur as we know, is Rudra within this material world. And Sadhu Shiva is in the spiritual world, in Vaikuntha. He is the expansion of Lord Vishnu. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rudra, or Lord Shiva, that we are now observing this ceremony, Shivaratri, is within this material world. But is so powerful that he is totally above everyone else amongst all the demigods. He is Mahadev. Maha means great or greatest, and Dev means demigods. So he's a very exalted personality. But here we read he's praying to Krishna. He's extremely humble. He's praying to Krishna. Although he's the most powerful person within the material creation. So, once Lord Brahma, he instructed his sons. Lord Brahma is the great. He instructed his sons to create progeny or increase the population, but they refused, and this created a lot of stress and anger for Lord Brahma. Although he tried to control it and he did not express his anger, but still Lord Brahma could not actually tolerate it to the fullest. And as a result, through this anger, through the eyebrows, Lord Shiva took birth. So this is how he is known as Rudra, the anger of Lord Brahma. This is how Lord Shiva has come. So Prabhupada writes in this purport, it's a very nice instruction. We see how even by these prayers sung by Lord Shiva, that he is praying to be his servant. Although he is such a very powerful personality, and great devotees are his devotees. They practically given up everything in this world. They retire to the Himalayan mountains and they simply meditate on Lord Shiva. He has a great following and great devotees also dedicated to his service. But here we find Lord Shiva is praying to Krishna to become or to remain his servant. And there's many wonderful examples of how Lord Shiva serves. It's amazing, it's unlimited in Bhagavatam, Vishnu. So many situations how Lord Shiva is serving. One of the most popular when we look services of Lord Krishna, we will actually look at a picture of Lord Shiva. We will see that the Ganga is flowing from Lord Shiva on his head. So it's amazing how the Ganga comes to this position of being held by Lord Shiva. Once a great king, Sagara, he performed a great horse sacrifice. And when Lord Brahma saw this, Lord Brahma became very anxious or worried, because he felt by performing this horse sacrifice, this king would become more powerful than Lord Indra. And so Lord Indra was worried, and Lord Indra decided to steal that horse, and which Lord Indra did. And Lord Indra took this horse down to the lowland systems and tied this horse near the ashram of Kapila Muni. Lord Kapila there was also an incarnation of Lord Krishna. So King Sagara, he had 64,000 sons, and he said that they were look for this horse. So eventually they came all over and they tried different ways, but when they came down to the low planetary systems, they found this horse near the ashram of Kapila Muni. And in this way, they went back and they told their father, King Sagara that, we found this horse and it was near the ashram of Kapila Muni. So in this way, the king assumed that Kapila Muni was responsible for taking the horse. So they went down and they captured they tried to attack Kapila Muni. But when they went down, Kapila Muni was in deep meditation. And immediately when he was disturbed, he opened his eyes. And by his glance and by his power, he burned the 64,000 sons of King Sagara. So in this way, King Sagara was advised that the only way that you could now, elevate or deliver your 64,000 sons was for them to have darshan or the water of Ganga placed on the ashes. So after the king passed away, he had another son who prayed, but unfortunately there was no result for him. Then another son of his son also prayed, but again he was unsuccessful. And then the third son was King Bhagirath. So he prayed and he performed great austerities. And again he was told by Kapila Muni that the only way you can deliver the 64,000 ancestors of yours is for them to be touched by the water of Mother Ganga. So in this way, King Bhagirath, he went into deep meditation and austerity and penances, and then he received the darshan of Mother Ganga. And she asked, what benediction do you want? And King Bhagirath said that my ancestors were burnt, the ashes are there. So he also went down and saw a heap of ashes near the ashram of Kapila Muni. And in this way, Mother Ganga asked, whatever benediction you want. And she said, no, that King Bhagirath said that Kapila Muni advised him that the only way to deliver your ancestors is by your water, the water of the Ganges. So Mother Ganga said, yes, I'm prepared to come down from the heavenly planets. But even if I come down, I'll come down with great force, and it will pierce the earth, and then I will end up in the lower planetary systems. So, and then King Bhagirath said, okay, I will pray and ask Lord Shiva if he could hold the force of your heart. So in this way, again, King Bhagirath went into deep meditation, performing austerities and penances. And again, now Lord Shiva asks him for the benediction that he wants. And in this way, Lord Shiva, he agreed to hold the force of Mother Ganga when she descends. So in this way, this is how Mother Ganga comes to this material world. Although we go to Gangotri, these places in the Himalayan mountains, and we go, I think the place is called, it's the source of the Ganga, but she's flowing from Swarga, from the heavenly planets. So in this way, this is how King Bhagirath was able to deliver his ancestors by praying to Mother Ganga, and she comes. And imagine a great service that Lord Shiva does in holding Mother Ganga. She was afraid that if she would come and her force would penetrate the earth. What great force, unimaginable, but that great force is being held by Lord Shiva. This is how Lord Shiva serves all of us. Every day we sing Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. When we go to Bharat, we go to the holy places, we must go to these holy places in Rishikesh and Haridwar. And we go further up to Kedarnath, Badrinath, and Gangotri, Yamunotri. We see how beautiful the rivers are. And it's different from when we go to Mayapur, where it's more like murky and cloud. But when you go up to the Himalayas, you see how beautiful Ganga is and all the beautiful holy rivers. So this is a great service performed by Lord Shiva. Another great service performed by Lord Shiva is he he appears as Shankaracharya. And we know from Prabhupada's books, basically each page is criticizing the Mayavadis and impersonalists, and Shankaracharya is their leader, the Mayavadis and the impersonalists. Just the onset of Kali Yuga, or as Kali Yuga came into being, on the pretext of the very injunctions or the license for killing animals, many people were misusing this license or injunction of killing animals to freely kill animals. And this was going on, that they were freely killing animals. And when Lord Krishna saw this, he became very compassionate upon the poor animals. And therefore Lord Krishna appears as a Shakti Avesha, or a partial incarnation as Lord Buddha. So Lord Buddha comes, and in order to stop this animal killing, because it was based on an injunction in Vedas, he rejected the Vedas. He told the people, reject the Vedas, forget the Vedas, and follow me. In this way, Lord Krishna, as Lord Buddha, he created a sort of a religion which is now known as Buddhism. And so their idea is Nirvana, or the Glories Nirvana, which is basically making everything zero, or there's nothing after this world. Forget the Vedas. So in this way, practically the whole of India became Buddhist. But it stopped animal killing. And this was Krishna's purpose to come as Lord Buddha, to save the animals, to stop animal killing. So the Buddhists, they want to make everything zero. So when this purpose was achieved, Lord Krishna then arranged to re-establish the Vedas, the holy books. And Lord Krishna instructs Lord Shiva to come as Shankaracharya. So this is how Shiva comes as Shankaracharya. And he began to preach everything is one. I am God, you are God, everything is impersonal. So in this way, he was able to give references from different Vedic books, and he was able to re-establish the Vedas. So this is another great service, because this function by Shankaracharya, or Lord Shiva as Shankaracharya, it established a foundation for what we are now trying to help Shiva build. So Shankaracharya, he was able to drive Buddhist philosophy out of India and create his own, or the impersonal philosophy. So in this way, the Buddhist philosophy was taken out very intelligently by Shankaracharya, and then Shankaracharya established the impersonal philosophy. What we read of Prabhupada's book, impersonalism, Mayavadi, every day sometimes Prabhupada is defeating this impersonalism and Buddhism. But it is the foundation of our philosophy. So this is another great service that is done by Lord Shiva in the form of Shankaracharya. And when so Lord Buddha makes everything zero, Lord Shiva comes as Shankaracharya, he makes everything one, and then Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, Lord Krishna Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we'll find that the Acharyas, they build on this foundation created by Shankaracharya. Ramanujacharya, Vishnu Swami, Madhavacharya, Nimbaka Swami. They now build on this foundation. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, and within this palace or mansion that's being built, he installs the deity of Sri Radha Krishna. Again, from zero, everything becomes one, and when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, there will be two. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we are all His servants. We are all individual souls, and Krishna is also an individual person. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he defeats this impersonal philosophy, and Srila Prabhupada is following in that line. So, this is another great service performed by Lord Shiva, is to take the role of Shankaracharya. But, although Prabhupada so often is criticizing this impersonal philosophy, he considers Shankaracharya to be a great acharya, because in his view, Shankaracharya says, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, Buddha Mate, you fools, just worship Govinda, just worship Govinda, just worship Govinda. See? So this is the great service performed by Lord Shiva. And here we see Prabhupada reciting in this purport. And we see also when we look at the picture of Lord Shiva, in his right hand he has Japama. He's chanting. Whom is he praying to? And here we see in this section we read the song that's sung by Lord Shiva. He's chanting the names of Lord Krishna. The original creation is sound vibration, and if the sound vibration is clear and purified, perfect knowledge and perfect activities actually become manifest. This is enacted by the chanting of the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada is saying, thus, Lord Shiva is praying again and again for the purification of body, mind, and activities through the purification of knowledge and action under the pure direction of the Vedas. Lord Shiva prays to the Supreme Personality of Godhead so that his mind, senses, and words will all turn towards devotional activities only. Yeah, it's a very important point to understand. That only under the pure direction of the Vedas. So again, we are so grateful for Lord Shiva to come as Shankaracharya, because he is now giving us the Vedas again, which was lost, which actually was taken out by Lord Buddha. So from the Vedas we learn ultimately that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. He has many incarnations and expansions. So Lord Shiva falls under Guna Avatar. There's 3 Guna Avatars, Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva. They rule in the mode of goodness, passion, and Lord Shiva, he oversees the mode of ignorance. So Lord Shiva has a very great role, he plays such a great role. And we should not confuse, although Lord Shiva within this material world is also known as Bhagavan, but that's within this material world. And he is the greatest servant of Lord Krishna. He helps us by becoming free from the raw material entanglement, and he also helps us to keep us in this world if we really want to enjoy and suffer in this world. That's part of his service as well. We find that Lord Shiva, the poisonous creatures take shelter of him. The dangers, the lions, the tigers, and snakes, they take shelter. And also we find that the ghosts and spirits, they also take shelter of Lord Shiva. So he's a very, very merciful person. Ultimately, Srila Prabhupada, he advises us not to disrespect the demigods, especially Maha Lord Shiva. But we should try and follow in the footsteps, like here we're reading of how Lord Shiva is such a great servant. We should not try to become big or great devotees, but we should try and become big servants. And this is how Lord Shiva is so great, because he is simply trying to be a servant, an obedient servant, and he doesn't become puffed up at any time. Although during the pastimes of Lord Krishna, we also find there's a very famous story or pastime of how Lord Krishna saves Lord Shiva. And in this way, also there's a fight between Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna at the time of the devastation, and ultimately Lord Krishna wins. So we can fully understand who Lord Shiva is simply by reading Srila Prabhupada's books. And in this way, by chanting Hare Krishna, Lord Shiva will be automatically be pleased. There will be no separate endeavor to perform any kind of sacrifice, even on Lord Shiva's most holiest day. If we simply chant Hare Krishna, that will please Lord Shiva. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Navadvip Mayapur, Shankaracharya also once visited Navadvip and Mayapur Navadvip, and this is in West Bengal. And when Shankaracharya came, he came to preach his impersonal philosophy. And Lord Chaitanya appeared to him in a dream, and he said, this is a place of Krishna Bhakti. This is a place where devotional service of Lord Krishna is, but we do not please your philosophy yet. So, in this way, there is one place called Rudalvi in Mayapur. It's a very famous place. Probably it will become the most famous place in the world spiritually, because this is where the ISKCON campus is. It's a massive complex, and now the world's biggest temple is almost being completed. The temple of very planetarium, the TOEP. It's Rudalvi, it's the bank of the Ganges, and Srila Prabhupada, at that time when Shankaracharya went there, no one was living there. And in the 70s, in the early 70s, Srila Prabhupada went and he began to get land, especially in the different holy places like Mayapur and Vrindavan. And when he went to Mayapur, he got this little piece of land. And then he got more land, more land, more land. And then he instructed the devotees that you must develop a spiritual city here. So this is a place called Rudalvi. It's the place of the 11 Rudras. It's the place of Lord Shiva. So you can imagine how intimately connected Lord Shiva is with the Hare Krishna, with Krishna consciousness. We cannot separate Lord Shiva from Krishna consciousness. But we should understand that Krishna, Lord Shiva, is the topmost servant of Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna, thank you. We can add on. Yeah, that's good.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Please explain what is the fight between Krishna and Shiva.
Yes.
What happened there? How did they solve it?
That's pastime I can explain to you. It's in a book called Krishna Book, which is a summary study of the Srimad 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, yeah, it's there's lots of details in that. So I cannot fully explain it now, but the actual the reference, if you like to read it, it's a book called the Krishna Book. If you look at the table of contents, you'll see it's one of the later chapters. There's 90 chapters in this book called Krishna. And there's a chapter called The Fight Between Lord Krishna and Lord Shiva. So the whole history is given in there. So it will take some time to explain. show you where we had to. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the class. We hear that Lord Shiva has his own tattva. Can you explain a bit more about that?
Yes. Oh, Shiva Tattva. Yes. Anyway, I had to read about it. I'm not clear, but I know he has his own tattva. And yeah, please forgive me, but I'll have to read and get more information on it.
Thank you.
So is Sadashiva and Shiva in material, are they the same? And also, what are the differences or similarities between the Deva and Rudras?
Okay. Yeah, I read about that. Let's see if I can find it. I think that's in the third kind of Shiva Bhagavatam. Yeah, Sadashiva, his planet is directly above the Viraj River. The Viraj River is like the border between the material world and the spiritual world. So Sadashiva is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Sadashiva also appears in Chaitanya Lila as Advaita Acharya. So, and the Rudra that we're speaking of is the Rudra of the material, which is called Shiva. Again, it's a topic that we have to really get deeper into the Sastra and hear from the more erudite devotees, more scholarly devotees. So I don't say anything and speculate today. So we can discuss it and you can read up, I can read up.
So they are different.
Yes.
I also heard that Sadashiva is the glance of Lord Vishnu. Is that correct?
Yes, did.
I heard somewhere that Sadashiva is the glance of Lord Vishnu, the glance that critical.
Okay. But please forgive me, I'm not so scholarly and just repeat things. It's all in all particles. Okay. But Hare Krishna. Shiva Prabhupada ki
Jai! His Grace Radhika Jivana Prabhu ki!